Hiya, Husky Light here. Right, crown chakra. I've been looking forward to this one as well, because this is one of the more interesting ones. Crown chakra is the one right at the top of your head. This is what connects you to your collective consciousness, to the universe, to your angels, to your guides, and it's amazing. And I'm going to go through what happens when it's open, what happens when there's blocks, some of the symptoms that you can go through, and also I've actually also, where have I put it? I'll have to run off and get it in a minute. I've not brought it in with me. Some examples of your crown chakra working on a day-to-day basis, and how the power of your thoughts and how you think and how you need to control your thoughts is so important. But I'll go through that in a bit. So crown chakra is right at the top of your head. It's coloured either white or violet, and this is what goes up to the collective consciousness. There is a sound that relates to the crown chakra, which is Om. So when you see people meditating and they go Om, and they keep doing that, they're putting their tongue on the roof of their mouth, making that sound as long as they can continually, and it vibrates at the same vibrational state as your crown chakra. So your crown chakra is to open your crown chakra and be more aware. So that is why when you see, they will sit there and go and it is, if you do that, if you did a meditation like that for even 10 minutes, you can feel it, and your whole head just starts to tingle. It's amazing. Crown chakra is also connected to your pineal gland, which is your third eye, which is here, which is why you have to control your thoughts. Watch what you're thinking. Only think about what you want, not what you don't want, because everything starts as a conscious thought within your head, and that conscious thought within your head, and subconsciously as well, we have to be careful of that. We have to really train different parts of our mind. Goes through your third eye, which is your imagination, and if you can picture it in your third eye, it goes up through your crown chakra, and this is what is released. Now, my idea of the collective consciousness, we all have a slightly different idea, I think, of what the collective consciousness is or how it works. My understanding is we have what we call a crystalline grid above the earth in the universe, which is about 60 miles above the earth, this grid, and it's crystalline. And when we have thoughts, they go up to this crystalline grid, which is the collective consciousness, or your higher consciousness, your angels. It's all the different levels up above. It hits the crystalline grid, and it is mirrored. Those thoughts are mirrored back down to us, either immediately, or they might take some time, depending on your idea of how long something would take to come to fruition, or even if you don't realize that something's going to come to fruition. For example, if we're looking for a parking space, and I've done a video on this, you'll have to go and find it a long time ago. If you're looking for a parking space, you're usually pretty sure you can get one. So that thought goes up to the collective consciousness, comes back down, there's your parking space. It's pretty easy. If you are deciding that you want to manifest a red Ferrari, that is the same, all the same. You imagine it, it goes up to the collective consciousness, but because you think it's big and it's expensive, it's going to take forever. And if you don't really believe that you're going to get it, then it'll never appear. But in all honesty, if we think about it hard enough and we believe in it absolutely wholly with our hearts, then a red Ferrari is just as easy to get as it is to manifest a button. or a parking space. It's just the power of thought and how much belief you have in that thought and the positive feelings that you put behind it to let it up. So if your crown chakra is blocked or not in a good state, not open properly, there's quite a few symptoms that you can go through. I'm going to have to drink water all the way through this. So you can feel ungrounded. You can feel disassociated from the world around you, your immediate environment. You are open and susceptible to brainwashing because you're not in control of your thoughts. There's a lot of, I've done a lot over the, especially since waking up, I've had to do a lot of research to do work on myself, to sort out my thoughts. And I think it is very, well, it is probable and it is likely, in fact it's not proven, but it's a fact in my head, that we all carry energy around with us, that we can all pass energy in between us. We can pick up thoughts from other people. Now, if somebody is near you or around you that has bad thoughts about you, they can project those thoughts onto you, and that's the psychic attack. I'm going to go through that in a different video, I think, and go into that in detail. I have spoken about psychic attacks before, but I didn't add as much detail as I wanted to, and I will do in a separate video. You can, so spiritual brainwashing as well can be you taking on board other people's beliefs, the church's beliefs, government beliefs that are not yours, but you agree with them and you believe in them and you follow them, but they're not yours. You've been told by somebody else. You've taken those thoughts on from somebody else. You've taken those thoughts on, made them your own, and decided that because everybody else is following that train of thought, you need to stay within, maybe it's a group or a church, and you need to stay within that. So you will take on the thoughts of others that are not actually your own, and you don't really believe in them, but at the same time you've been brainwashed into believing them, and you don't realise that sometimes. Dysfunctions. Alzheimer's disease can be a physical symptom. Depression is definitely a physical symptom of your crown chakra not working properly. Epilepsy, when parts of the brain are not working properly, are not balanced. Multiple sclerosis, paralysis. There is quite a few serious diseases that can manifest themselves from a crown chakra being blocked or not working properly, that you need to sort of watch out for. There can be bone disorders, nervous system disorders, migraines, headaches, going dizzy, lightheadedness, having poor judgment, not being able to judge things, a lack of self-understanding, a lack of not knowing who you are. This is where the I am chant comes in, because when you do affirmations of I am wonderful, I am amazing, I am brilliant, you're putting those affirmations onto yourself. You are learning from those affirmations, and you learn who you are. You learn who you are on an internal basis, not just as people around see you. You can have a lack of direction in your life as you just sort of get up every morning and bimble along, and you're just not conscious, you're not thinking, you're just walking around a little bit like a sheep following a herd, and that is dangerous because you're not in control of your thoughts. Then you are just letting the world take over, and you are so susceptible to, again, psychic attacks, things going wrong in your life, bad things happening, because you are not conscious enough to be able to control what is going on in your world. It's a very hard thing when you start waking up to accept responsibility for the fact that whatever happens in your reality is a direct result of the way you think, because you have manifested it. And it took me ages to get my head around that. And then when I started to realise it, the feeling that I was totally responsible for my thoughts, and whatever thoughts I put out into the higher consciousness came back down and manifested. I had this complete overwhelming sense of the sheer weight of responsibility that fell on me, because suddenly I can't blame anybody else for doing anything wrong or happening, because somewhere in my psyche I've manifested it, I've created the world that is around me now. And it is a huge responsibility when you realise that, and you think, oh my god, all these years, everything that's gone wrong, everything that's gone right, everything that's happened has all been a direct result of what you think, of what you have thought, which is in your third eye, which then goes out through your crown chakra and up to the heavens, the grid, then is mirrored back down to you again. And it is crazy. Sometimes you can get very overwhelmed with it sometimes, because you spend a lifetime just not really paying attention to your thoughts or what's going through your head, and then suddenly you have to pay attention, you have to control those thoughts, you have to quieten your mind, knowing that it will manifest if you're not careful, if you don't want it. This is why when we're doing manifesting things, it's just so important, and also in everyday life, just to keep your thoughts positive, because again, it's not just you that you're affecting as well by what happens. It's going to be your family around you, people around you, and also the thoughts are going back up to the collective consciousness. So if you start looking at on a grander scale, on a really, really big scale, your thoughts are being added to the collective consciousness of the universe, which is everybody's thoughts, that we're all connected, and then coming back down. It is a huge, sometimes it can be overwhelming. So everything, you are a complete mirror, really, with your life. Now, before I sort of get too deeply into that, your head will tingle like crazy when your crown chakra is open. You can get really bad headaches. You will start to manifest things on a daily basis, regularly. You can also feel like you've got things crawling through your scalp and you just want to scratch and scratch and scratch. That's awful. Tingling feelings, pins and needles in your head. The actual feeling that you can feel it sort of cracking open your skull at the top, that's really painful when it does that. So those are some of the things you can feel when it comes in, and I've gone through the physical aspects of it as well, and I want to explain, try and stress just how important the rest of your body needs to be in balance, and your third eye needs to be balanced and open, and everything needs to be open fully and not blocked, because whatever is blocked is going to go up and it's coming down again. That's it. It can come down immediately, or it can take a while, it can take a few weeks, it can take a year, depends what it is, and it depends how good you are at controlling the thoughts. So, excuse me. I think I can remember what I wrote down. Diseases, everything starts with a thought. So For example, diseases are caused by germs that are passed on from people to people, and people will get a cold or the flu or TB or whatever it is that's being passed around. But not everybody gets it. You might get several people in one community or one family who are very close together who will all catch, say it's the flu, they'll all catch the flu. Okay? But then you'll get another family and only 2 people in that family have got the flu. And why? It's the same germs, it's the same things that are going round, but it affects different people in different ways. Some of you are going to catch the flu, some of you are not going to catch the flu. For those of you in a tight-knit family who all believe that if one gets flu, everyone gets flu, you will get flu. If you're in a different family and one of you gets flu and one thinks, no, I'm immune to that, I've just had it, I'm not having it, I don't believe that I will get it, they won't get it, because that is their thought. It also goes a lot with hereditary diseases. When you have convinced yourself that because your mum died of a certain disease or your dad died of a certain disease and your grandma did and your brother did and everything else, you can then think it's hereditary, I'm going to die from the same thing, that's going to happen to me. And you will, for definite, because you're thinking that and because you're manifesting it, and that is your belief. It is your beliefs that cause things to happen. What else? My mum, as an example, died of bowel cancer, as did her mum, who died of bowel cancer, as did my brother, who died of bowel cancer as well. Now my mum, all her life, convinced herself that because her mother had died of cancer, and then her son, bless him, my brother, died of cancer as well, it was hereditary and she would die of cancer, and she did. She caused that to happen. It starts as a thought, it works its way through the auric layers that are around you, and eventually it will come into your body and it will manifest in your body because of your strong belief and because of my mum's strong belief that she would get it. Now of course my mum wasn't awake, bless her, at the time she was around, I wasn't. Now that I've woken up and I'm learning to control my thoughts and learning to know what my own beliefs are, not the beliefs that somebody else has put on me, but my own deep-rooted beliefs that are mine, solely mine. I know that I won't die of cancer. I simply won't. I simply refuse to. And because I believe that I won't, I won't. It will not happen. If on a subconscious level somewhere, though, like my mum, for instance, believe that she would, then it will happen, because you have literally talked your body into it. It's a self-prophesizing thought, and you don't want to prove yourself wrong, do you? You need to prove yourself right in whatever you're thinking, in every situation, so it will come to pass and it will come to be. What you think, so shall you be. And it's as simple as that, or it sounds as simple as that. But when you start trying to put it into practice, wow, it takes some doing and it takes some practice. And I don't think anybody, even if all your chakras are open and you're fantastic and you're brilliant and there's no blockages, you still learn on a day-to-day basis to keep your thoughts in order and keep them in check. I did a video 3 months ago, something like that, when I was starting to think there's something going on here, because every time I have a thought it happens. And I had a few times where I was talking to somebody about something that had happened in the past, I was talking quite mundanely about it. You can go and watch the video. I'll put the link up to the video, but I'm not repeating it again because I know I know the power of my thoughts will do it again, and I'm not doing it. So I'll put a link up to that for you to watch. But I had this mundane conversation, or so I thought, about things that had happened the year before while I was going through Night of the Dark Soul. And lo and behold, that evening it all started to manifest around me. I saw it on the telly, I heard it in conversation. It was crazy, and because it happened at such an extremely fast rate as well, it wasn't that something happened and I went, oh, I've just been talking about that. It was a case of bang, 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 bang in a really short space of time. And because the things and the subjects of the things that I was talking about were not particularly positive, they were quite horrible and scary, of course it just went whoosh at me and frightened the living daylights out of me. And I think it was at that point that I thought, oh, I've so got to control what is going on. I also spoke about the lights in my car, my dashboard going off, and my car tyres. I'll put the link on for the video. So whatever you can picture or think with your thoughts, and whatever goes in, and all your thoughts go through your third eye as well, especially if you're actually, and you do, even subconsciously, when you think of something, you put a picture with it, and that picture is in your third eye, which then goes up to your crown chakra, which then goes up and then comes back down again. So it's just imperative. So I've given you the example about my mum, and bless her, she did die of cancer. Now that I'm awake and I understand the concept of thought, the uncontrolling and everything else, and I have going through the Night of the Dark Soul, I've had to do all the inner work. I've had to do all of that, and I will still continue to do all of that and bring up things that need clearing as they come up, and the tests that come into your life that test you to make sure that you know what you're doing and that you've learnt the lessons. I will continue to do that on a day-to-day basis, because there will always be probably something that I've not quite learned, something that I didn't get the first time, and it will come around again. And hopefully the next time it comes round, I will be in such an awakened state I can make a different conscious decision about it, or have a different thought about it, look at it from a different perspective and change the outcome. Okay, for those of us, another example, for all of us who have had relationships, love relationships, and every relationship you have ever had has all finished in exactly the same way. They've all run off with somebody else, they've all had an affair on you. That is because you, maybe the first time it happened when you were younger or whatever, it was a fluke and it just happened, and then you start going out with somebody else, and you had that little seed of doubt somewhere in your unconscious mind, in your subconscious, and you might not have even known it was there. Yeah, but that little seed was there, that because the first one ran off with somebody else, is the one you're with now going to do the same? Yep, they are, and they do. And then the next one you go out, and the next one you go out, until you can recognize what is going on and change that pattern of thought, change your beliefs. Because you are then, as I said before, the subconscious, your conscious, you don't want to be proved wrong. You have to self-prophesize. You have to, you can't prove yourself wrong, because if you're proving yourself wrong, where does that leave you? In a mess. You have to be able to say to yourself, yeah, I bloody knew that was going to happen all along. I was right, I was right. Yeah, you were right. And it will happen every time until you can recognize that and change it. I actually knew somebody who was convinced that everybody he went out with would fall in love with somebody else and go off with somebody else, and it did. Definitely. more examples of how it works. I am a really good driver. Some may disagree with me, but I think I'm a really good driver. And making cakes in the past and doing things and going and seeing clients and everything else and running around and having kids, I have always gone at the speed limit, which is on the motorway over here, it's 70 miles an hour. So I have never gone at 60 miles an hour. I've always gone at 70 miles an hour where it's been safe to do so. Occasionally I've gone over 70 miles an hour. I've been a proper little speedster, especially when I was younger, doing the driving and everything and going faster. I've never had a speeding ticket in my life because I firmly believe that I'll never get one. I've never had one, so I will never get one, and I never will. Even if I go over that speed limit a bit at times, I will never get a speeding ticket because I just firmly believe, and I have that belief within me, that I won't get one, and I never have and I never will. Somebody else I know of believes that they will get a speeding ticket if they go over a certain speed, and they actually drive really, really slowly because they're convinced they will get a speeding ticket if they go over a certain speed. Okay, the one time that they actually went at 70, 71, 72 miles an hour because they're in a rush, whatever, and they chanced it, they got a speeding ticket the very first time they did that, because it's already there in your subconscious. You already think that's what's going to happen, and it did. Self-prophesized, done. So yeah, whatever you think goes up, and it's also connected to all your other chakras. So everything has to be working and functioning as properly and as well as you can. Once your crown chakra opens, you become aware of your body being connected to everything. You are connected to nature, you're connected to animals, you're connected with every other living creature in this universe, and you become aware of that, and that helps you to control your thoughts. So when we talk about the collective consciousness, it's because all our thoughts are going up there. Now, I will not watch the news, and I won't watch certain things on TV if they are violent or gory, or God, I used to love horror films when I was younger. I wouldn't dare watch one now, really wouldn't, because I'll manifest it. I don't know if I'd I'm not going to go and see Jurassic Park and manifest a dinosaur in my front room. It's not like that. But if there are things within that film that are easily manifestable, then they will, and they have, and it's, I do it on a day-to-day basis. I went through a phase of doing everything twice, and I haven't noticed it lately, but now I've said it, it'll probably happen again. My hedge cutters, I used them last year to cut the hedge, and I managed to bloody chop right through the lead, the power cord, as I was cutting the leaves. Got it out this year, and it had been fixed from last year, and I got it out and I started doing my hedge, and as I was doing my hedge, I thought to myself, do you know what, I hope I don't chop through the bloody wire again like I did last year. 30 seconds later, after I thought that to myself, I chopped right through it again and blew it, even though I was well aware of where the power cord was. And I'd already said to myself, I better watch out, that I hope that doesn't happen again. It happens again. I fixed it. I went back out to the hedge again and thought to myself, well, that was a really stupid thing to do. I won't think of cutting the cord again, will I? 30 seconds later, I did it for a second time in the same day, because I thought of it again, and I just thought, you stupid woman, stop it. Why are you doing that? So it's just so crazy. Other examples, one of my really early videos on here was about the parking angel. If you believe you're going to get a parking space, you will get a parking space. Somebody will just happen to, you'll be driving around, everyone else can't find a space, and you'll be going space, 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 wishing for one as you drive round. And as you drive around, you will see somebody happens very luckily to just back out of their parking space and go away, and they're right in front of you, so you can just nip into the space. And it's because you're thinking about it and it's manifested it. Your crown chakra just looks at everything from a completely different perspective and just knows. It's a knowing. It's where the pre-cognitive thing comes from, of just knowing things, and also knowing things before they happen as well. And the manifesting, which these are all gifts that are part and parcel of when your crown chakra opens in your third eye and all your other chakras, and you're connected to the higher consciousness. These are just like side effects, gifts that come with it, that are amazing, and until you open up you won't experience them. But when you do, it's crazy, and you really do have to control everything, because anything mundane, and it's so difficult to do as well, because if you think about on a normal day, you get engrossed in something, or you're flying around doing something, and there's millions of thoughts going through your head every day. And any one of those thoughts, if it goes through your third eye and up out the top, that's it, it's coming true. So this is why we also say it's so important to cut out the chatter in your mind, to try and quieten your mind, to control what's going through it. The more silence you've got in your mind, the more you can just be, the better it is. Not just for you, but for everybody around you as well. And it's at this point that you start to be able to change from the inside out, the way you live, the way you do things, your perspective on things, which then in turn you will eventually be able to see it changing in the reality around you. And it's not going to happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. It is a slow process, and the more you control your thoughts, the more you think about how you want to be, how you want your reality to be, what you want to happen in your life. Slowly over time it builds momentum and gets bigger and bigger like a snowball, and you will start to see little changes around you, and then bigger changes, and then one day you'll look round and go, where I am now compared to where I was a year ago, the difference is amazing. So this is also why I say, if I don't concentrate on bills, I don't think about them, I don't not pay that well. Sometimes I do if I can't afford it, but I will put them to one side and not concentrate on them, because if I was to concentrate on them, then I would just get more of what I concentrate on, which means I would end up getting more bills. And the same goes for you as well. So you can temporarily put things aside. And I said with the new moon this week, manifesting up to the full moon, that's why it's so important. Put things aside temporarily that you don't want to think about. You do not want to think about them at the moment, or they'll start to materialize. So everything, we are energy, we are energy, we are spirit in a human body, and we have to come to understand that and learn that and live our lives on that level. We have to have a human experience, but our spirit was here first before our body. So whatever happens, you know, there's energy, we're all energy. So any manifestation that happens, that comes from our consciousness, it comes through the energy field, and if it is illness or disease, it comes through your layers and eventually hits your physical body as well. I mentioned earlier, I don't listen to the news at all, because I don't want to have to think of whatever's going on in the news in my head for it to go up to the higher consciousness, because it's just adding that bad thought up there and it's all coming down again. So I don't listen to it. I hear a lot of I don't, because I'd switch the radio off now, but when you have the adverts in between the songs, there's usually so many adverts about disease and about cancer, and it is drilled into you on a day-to-day basis as you're listening to it, and you may not even be aware that you might actually switch off your head while you're driving or something and not really be listening to the adverts, but it's still going into your subconscious. It's still a reoccurring thing that you've heard, which is going into your subconscious, which is then going to start to manifest because it's repeated and repeated, and it goes in and it's being hammered in. And this is why I don't listen to stuff like that, because yes, we all know that that particular disease exists. We all know that a lot of people die from it, and a lot of our loved ones die from it, and it's there's a really high percentage rate of us catching it and developing it. But at the same time, if they're playing adverts all the time about it and drilling it into you all the time, so you're listening to it all the time, does it not make sense then that it would actually come to pass that yes, you will, because it's drilled in? So don't listen to it. Don't listen to it. You can change your bloodline. If you've got a history of hereditary disease in your family and everybody else has got it, if you can believe on a deep level that you're not going to catch it, that you've managed to change things, then you won't get it. You have got control of every cell in your body. You've got control of your body. Your mind and your body are so connected. A lot of us don't realise how connected it is. And your thoughts and the way you think manifests itself in your body, in your outside world, everywhere. So it's, yeah. So once that opens, and it's like when you're in your 3D body and you're not open, you're just here within yourself here. But once it opens, you are so connected to everything else. It's like having an aerial view and looking down on yourself and everything around you and looking at things from a completely different perspective. So it is amazing in that way, and you do start to think differently. You do realise that things you've done in the past and things you do now do create your reality, do happen. And you might think, well, I never thought of this horrible thing where I've had to get divorced, or I got this or I got that. In your subconscious, it will be in your subconscious, and it's been manifested through there. So whatever happens, good or bad, we have to take responsibility for what happens. In the end, it is solely down to us and the way we think that manifests around us, even when it's bad. And that is a major stumbling block for some, and it took me a long time to get my head around that. So if you have lack of self-confidence, if you don't love yourself enough and something bad happens around you, it's because on a subconscious level you feel that you deserve that bad thing to happen. You might not have consciously thought it, but deep down, because you've got issues of not respecting yourself, loving yourself, it will happen, which is why it's so important, which is why I stress it so much to you and try to help you understand. And I know sometimes when I do the angel cards, if it's coming out, sometimes I feel like I'm repeating myself, because I want everyone to understand that once we wake up, you'll realise how much in control of things you really are. And your angels and your guides are there to guide you, and they are there for you, and you're in touch with them, and all you need to do is ask them for help. And if you're really going down the wrong road, they will help steer you down the right road by causing situations and recycle things for you to pick up on and think, I've done this before and it was really bad last time and now it's come back up. Okay, so now I don't want to do what I did last time. I need to look at it from a different perspective now. I need to do it in a different way. I need to think differently to get a different outcome. So I'm trying to think what else. This has turned into quite a long video, but it's yeah, all your chakras are connected. You've got the symptoms of each chakra, and in the end it all goes up to the crown chakra. And I think you can, because I think somebody asked me this, I think your crown chakra can open before the rest of them. They usually open in a specific order from root upwards, but I think sometimes they can open in a slightly different order, and you could open your crown chakra first, but I highly don't recommend it. I really don't recommend it. You need to be in, all your other chakras need to be in balance, and you need to be grounded before that one opens, otherwise all hell's going to break loose. For example, as mine did, when mine opened so quickly, pretty much all at the same time, and my crown chakra opened, so as soon as something bad happened, I'd freak out about it, and then something else bad, and it snowballed until it was crazy. There was so much going on, I was manifesting so much, and I ended up thinking I was the victim and someone was out to get me and all the rest of it. And all along it was because my thoughts were so confusing, because I didn't know what was going on. My crown chakra is opened, all the rest of them are open, they're all coming up for clearing. I haven't got hell, I haven't got a cat, I didn't have a cat in hell's chance at the time. I did not understand, and I certainly didn't understand that I was actually manifesting what I was thinking and what was happening to me. I was just freaking out because I was like, oh my god, this has happened, and I've just been thinking, and I actually really did. There was times when I really did think somebody had bugged the place or put cameras in the house or something, because every time I concentrated on anything that went wrong, it went wrong 10 times over and just got worse and worse and worse. And I thought, somebody's doing this deliberate, someone's really trying to hurt me here, and it wasn't. It's me. It was me all along. But I did not understand that, and this is what happens when you go through Night of the Dark Soul. As stuff is coming up for clearing, I have manifested the most crazy stuff when I was going through that time a year ago, exactly a year ago now, that you would never ever in a million years imagine that somebody could have a thought like that and then physically manifest it in front of you. But it happens, and you can, so be very, very careful about, and especially at the time of the new moon and as you're developing through to the full moon. I think I've covered everything I can think of. Just learn to just be in the moment. Don't think, this is why we say don't think of the past, don't be bringing it up again, and think of only good things for the future, and think positive to be able to produce positive things. Now you can, once you become aware of your thoughts, once you become aware that you're doing this, you can start to control your thoughts to never fully. I can't do it fully, unless I'm a Buddha sat on the top of the mountain with absolutely nothing else to think about apart from his own thoughts, and because he has no outside stimuli, because nothing's going on around him, his thoughts will be very, very simple and very controlled. It's a lot harder in the outside world, as we know, so just be aware of it. And we can't, as I said, we can't control everything. Some of it's going to be in our subconscious that comes up, but just as long as we all know that when it does, it's because we manifested it. We are all mirrors of each other. if somebody's being horrible to you and having an argument with you and everything, there will be something within that person that is actually within you that needs clearing, and that problem is being mirrored back to you. So then you have to figure out what that is and work it out, and vice versa. I might do another video on this because it's just getting very complicated now. But I hope that helps. We're basically, once our chakras are open and we understand what each chakra does and how it works and what it can manifest and the sort of problems we can have when it's blocked, that awareness then helps you in the future when you're ill, when something is happening. You will then start to become aware of, I wonder if my solar plexus chakra is blocked because of a certain thing that's happening. I wonder if my third eye is blocked at the moment because something is, you know, and it will be, each one will be connected, and you will start to become aware of that, and you'll be able to feel it. It's like you can almost feel the chakras inside you. So, and it's also, when we talk about twin flames, yes, twin flames do exist. I believe that they exist. I believe that the person in my life is my twin flame and he will come back. But originally, when the twin flame starts, it has to start within you, and what that means is you have to be perfectly balanced. Your male and your masculine and your feminine has to be in perfect balance inside you. You have to become a whole person first in order to manifest the real twin flame in the physical. And this is why there's so much in that particular case, there's so much work that you have to do, inner work, because the inner work that you do reflects and represents the outer world that you live in, and is reflected back to you in other people, other situations. So when you've got that perfect balance inside, and when you've got that peace and that happiness inside, it shows on the outside, and then there isn't any chaos on the outside. When there's chaos on the outside, it's because something's wrong inside. So, whew, I hope this helps. And I was looking forward to doing this one, and I could probably go on about it all day. Now I've started, but if there's anything that I've not covered or not thought of, please put it below if you've experienced anything that I haven't, or not mentioned something. Just share your experiences. It helps enormously, and especially we have the most wonderful, I think, I love you lot, because I think I've got this fantastic community of subscribers that is growing, and we all, I obviously say things that you can relate to or resonate with at times, otherwise you wouldn't be following me. So a lot of us are in touch with our own collective consciousness. So, and it's really nice because it validates everybody else, and we all know that we're in this together. So a little bit like that, it's great. So that was a really long one. Namaste, blessings and light. I've got all 3 dogs, I think. Yeah, she's puffing because it's still hot. All 3 dogs around me, and I will I hope you can take something away from this. Put your comments below. I hope it helps. Anybody who needs any help with anything, just email me or drop me a message, whatever. I'm here to help as much as I can. Thank you. Namaste.